Record playing?
Should we? So nah, because it's about to end.
Yeah, that's
Up.
it's pretty clean.
And boom, we're live.
Boom, we're live.
Boom, it's
We're all
working.
set. Thank
right.
you everybody for joining us. MMA Complete brought to you by SFBNRI. First show of 2021.
Hell yeah,
Everybody,
boys.
Yep. New camera.
finally made it. Finally made it.
New computer. New mic.
Yeah, new computer, and the camera will be sorted out shortly. The camera on this computer is not great, but we will manage and we will persevere and we will come out better on the other side.
We're gonna spend $40 on the camera.
Yeah, we spent $40 on a camera.
Or go. Well, we'll get there.
Yeah. Always improving, always progressing. The camera's not too bad right now. Hopefully the audio should be crisp. We got a brand new mic, courtesy of Papa Drapes for Christmas.
Thank
So
you,
that
Papa
was
Drapes.
awesome.
Thank you.
We got a great show in store, I think, because we're really just going to be
A lot of fights
talking
getting
about
announced.
everything.
A lot of fights.
We're going to be
getting
talking about
announced.
everything. We're going to be talking about 2021, the big fights that happened, the fights that just got scheduled, the fights that we've known are going to happen, like the Conor McGregor Dustin Poireir fight. That's going to be a huge draw. January 23rd, Conor versus Poirier. That fight will likely be happening around midnight. The card will start around 7, 8 o'clock, though, so make sure you come check us out wherever you're watching this, January 23rd. Brought to you by all SFBNRI. Check out Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Periscope, Twitch, other Facebooks. You know.
Yeah, we have a lot of
Yeah, we
Facebook
have a lot of
accounts.
Facebook accounts. So do you guys want to get started with like the big ones, or do you guys want to go chronological? What are you trying to do?
Big ones are always fun to talk about.
Yeah. So let's go big. Go
All right,
big or go
so
home.
Conor versus Poirier happening January 23rd, the first pay-per-view of the year, UFC 257, and it's actually 257.
What's the hallways of fight night?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
Oh yeah, and so the it's an actually decent card. There's a couple of pretty good prelim fights, and there's other good main card fights, and we're still 2 weeks out from the actual pay-per-view.
Yeah.
There's still going to be some added,
Yeah.
Some taking off as well with COVID. And
of
all that.
course.
Exactly. Hopefully, no injuries either. People slipping and hitting
Right.
their head on
Oh my God.
bathtubs and
Whenever that happens, it's always a shame seeing somebody get injured right before a fight.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
terrible. And then you got guys like Khabib break their toe. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
or Kamayev. He
Or Kamayev.
stub his freaking finger, dude. He
Yeah,
can't fight.
and he can't
Like,
fight.
what the frig?
So-
Stop being a pussy.
Also in the UFC 257 main card,
Really?
we have the co-main event of Dan Hooker versus Michael Chandler.
Well,
Nice.
So we've been talking about Michael Chandler's prospective debut inside of the UFC Octagon for a long time.
Months.
And this is probably, I don't want to say best case scenario, but it's damn near close because we all said that he doesn't deserve a
No.
top fighter.
No, I don't think
And
so.
Dan Hooker is a top fighter. He's number 5 though.
gatekeeper.
So it's a great gatekeeper for Chandler.
gatekeeper.
And Chandler has everything to prove. He did great in Bellator, but
Yep.
now he's in where the big boys play. So
Yeah, exactly. And you want to know who else did great in Bellator? Ben Askren.
Ben Askren did do. I think Ben Askren was in 1.
Yeah, he was.
And then he went to Bellator?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we see that all the time. You got guys like, Nick Diaz was Strikeforce, but you have a bunch of Bellator fighters. I don't know if there was a lot of champions that came over to the UFC, but there was, fighters that just take another contract.
It's good competition.
Absolutely. It's great
And look at it. Look at Michael Chandler right now. He's facing a top 5 fighter. So
Right.
I mean, it's definitely gonna be a good fight. It's not gonna be a sleeper fight.
It is.
Who do you got?
Chandler versus Hooker.
Yeah. Who do you got?
See, I don't know if I have to watch some tape on Chandler.
I've never seen him fight.
Chandler he's an all-around mixed martial artist. He's
Yeah.
good on the ground. He's really good standing up. And we know that Dan Hooker is a striking specialist. So that's what Dan Hooker wants to do.
Yeah.
Good counter wrestling too, right?
I'm not sure, honestly. I know,
Okay.
he's top 5. He had a great fight with Dustin Poirier in which they mixed it up. They stood tall and they went to the ground and they did all that.
Yeah,
it was actually
exactly.
third for fight of the year for 2020.
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier is a commendable wrestler too. So
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Dustin Poirier is a great wrestler.
I can respect Hooker's ground game if he could stand with him.
Right.
Yeah.
But, who knows? We're really just going to have to watch some more tape on Michael Chandler for
Yeah.
sure. I'm rooting for Dan Hooker.
Me too.
Just, I don't know why, but I just
Yeah.
am. And I think the UFC and Dana White obviously want Michael Chandler to win because they've been hyping him up and they want to get him in the top 5 of this already loaded division.
Yeah, but you're seeing that a lot more with fights that he's doing, like Kamaev coming in, giving him a top 5 fight right away.
Kamaev was kind of
You know what I
crazy
mean?
because he's only had what 4?
3-0 in the UFC.
3-0 in the
3-0
UFC.
Yeah.
4 pro fights, 8 fights in total.
That's kind of crazy to me.
And he got put against a number 3 fighter.
Yeah, so I mean, he's doing it more and more. Who else? He did it with someone else.
Who? I don't know.
Well, he's doing it with champion fighters. He's doing it with Adesanya, and John Jones is probably going to fight Stipe.
Yeah,
but that's different.
It is different. It is different, but it's still jumping.
They have
It's
earned it.
jumping the gun.
Right,
Like,
but
you're seeing a lot more of jumping
I don't know
the
if
gun.
it's jumping the gun though, because like we saw it with Conor back in the day. We saw it with DC. We saw it with a bunch of people that they're champions and they've beaten a lot of people. It's not like Adesanya has 1 title defense and he went right to light heavyweight.
Yeah, right.
He has
Yeah.
4, or he has
4.
3. He has 3.
It's a commendable amount, more than most make it.
Absolutely. And so, like, should he have stayed at middleweight? Is it inconveniencing the UFC? Yes, it is.
It's hugely inconvenient for the UFC.
Right. It is. I mean, in the sense that the divisions get held up, not in the sense that they're going to make money, because they're going to make money.
Yeah.
Either way.
But
Yeah.
I mean, and that's obviously the driving factor of it all anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But like when you have a guy like Michael Chandler,
He could be a big name quick.
I've been saying it ever
Good.
since the
He comes
UFC
out in
signed
dominant
him.
fashion.
I've been saying it ever since the UFC signed him. Dana has to be paying this guy a lot to get him to the UFC, and that's why he wants to make him big.
No,
Either that or he really believes in him.
it's strange. It's
Dana,
strange.
I feel like it's usually about the money.
It
it's
totally
very
is. But I
strange.
mean, he wouldn't be pushing a fighter if he wasn't elite. We know that.
There's a reason why he's making this fight. That's why I'm kind of siding. Like, you got to choose the person that's in the UFC longer. That's why I'm choosing
Absolutely.
Dan Hooker. And I haven't watched a lot of Michael Chandler.
Right. So we're gonna have to
But
look at that a little bit more.
I wouldn't be surprised if Michael Chandler won, because there's something that someone sees in him to be getting this fight.
For the record, Dan Hooker's going to come into this fight with a 4-inch reach advantage. So that's something.
Yeah, I
That
noticed
is something.
Chandler was a bit shorter.
He's, I'm pretty sure, 3 inches taller as well.
Yeah.
So that's something. For those of you watching, drop a comment. Let us know who you think is going to win if Michael Chandler is going to make his debut win and shoot into the top 5 of the lightweight division. All right. So
where does that put Dan Hooker, though? Because he's not ranked. So
Dan Hooker
who's
would
getting
probably
booted
go
off?
like 8.
Who's getting booted off the list?
Dan Hooker. I think if Michael Chandler wins this, he goes right to number 5. And Dan Hooker goes to like 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah, that's probably
Yeah.
fair.
Because you have guys like Tony who are 7.
Yeah.
That if Michael Chandler beats Dan Hooker, he's going to go above Tony.
Yeah, he
And
has to.
if Dan Hooker loses, I don't know if he goes lower than Tony.
Charles Oliveira.
Charles
scares
Oliveira is
me.
number 3 now, though.
Charles
He's
Oliveira
taking the
is going
division.
to fight Gaethje. They are going
Well,
to make that a fight.
they wanted
That got
Oliveira.
announced yesterday.
They wanted to fight Oliveira versus Chandler. That was what Dana White wanted to do, but Oliveira said he couldn't make weight in time, and so they got Dan Hooker. Dan Hooker only accepted this fight like a week ago.
Yeah.
And Michael Chandler knew that he was going to get a fight at
Good
257.
on
So
Dan
that's
Hooker.
another thing to think about.
Yeah,
I
good
think
on
excuse
Dan
me.
Hooker.
Yeah, he didn't back down. I'll give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Paul Felder didn't either.
Charles Oliveira, I
5
think, is going
rounds.
to be
The champ.
the champ in that division,
Yeah.
because you're going to have Conor.
Yeah.
And then Conor's going to leave right away. He's going to go to boxing. So he's going to vacate the belt. And then you're going to have another fight to see who wins the belt. It's going to be a crazy year.
Is Conor Poirier for the belt?
I think they're going to
I
make it.
think they will.
Whoa.
Here's the thing. Khabib
I
came
said
out.
that's the same thing I said.
Khabib came out and said that he thinks it should be for the belt. That's big.
That's big.
It's not
That's
not
big.
like completely influential,
Mm.
but that's huge for Khabib to say that. Because you would think that, I would think that the title runs through Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
Because he's the last title contender. He's the last interim champ.
Yeah.
He won the interim champ against Tony.
Mhm.
So I would assume that it goes through him, but then you have Charles Oliveira. And that makes me think like, oh, okay, what if they make an Oliveira versus Gaethje, put that at 258 or 259, Lord willing, 259,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and make that for the belt. But
Yeah.
that also brings the question, how long do you want to have the title vacated for? Because it's already been vacant for over a month and a half
It's
now.
bad for the division. It
It
really
is bad for the
There's
division.
all the people questioning who they're going to fight next and
Right.
what they're fighting for.
It might be good because it keeps the people questioning.
It keeps the people
Maybe.
questioning, yes, but
It brings a lot of attention to other names like Dan Hooker.
but at the
Michael
same
Chandler.
time, even if it's the smallest amount, even if it is like 100,000 views,
Mhm.
like if they marketed this fight as a title fight, they would get more views because people want to see title fights.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And maybe they're just saving it for Gaethje Oliveira because they know this fight will draw views anyway.
Yeah.
So that could be another thing. But as not even an expert, as an appreciator of the UFC,
Yeah.
I want them to just put a title down. So I wouldn't mind Conor versus Poirier
For the belt.
for the belt.
Because at least give some direction in the division. Like,
But I don't. It
and that's
also
that's Conor's all
it
day.
also brings up the question: what if
Connor's
Conor
all day.
dips right away? That's not good for the division either, and he's the most likely to dip if he wins. So that could be bad too. But then you could just put an interim belt on
Yeah.
Gaethje versus Oliveira.
You could do that.
It would be sick to have like a small tournament to see who gets the belt.
It would be sick. I thought that's what they should have
Top
done.
5 fighter. You start Michael Chandler's the 6th. So there you go. You got 3 fights, 2 fights, and then 1 fight. That
Well,
could
no,
all
you
be
can't have a
in-
tournament in 6 people.
Yeah, no, that
No, you have
You
a tournament
can.
with 4 people.
6 people. Oh yeah, you can.
No, because you have 6 people, 3 of them
3,
win, and then
and
what do you
then-
do with 3? You have 1 on a bye.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great idea because I think they should do a tournament for the lightweight title. I think not
Maybe-
only would that
maybe
be
do
super
8.
interesting, I think that would be a great storyline.
Bring
Oh, they
Nate
could
Diaz
do
in
8.
it.
They
Do
could
Nate
do 8.
Diaz.
I don't know if they want to waste that much time though, because if you're doing 8
That's a lot of
fights,
time.
if you're doing 8 fights,
We're talking
That's-
about a year.
that's 4 fights to crown a champ.
back
Is
when
it
they used
4?
to do it all in like
8,
one night or
4,
a few
2.
days.
And that's
That's
with no
3
one
fights
getting
to win a champ.
injured, no one has to wait, everything going
Right.
smooth. And we're talking
Exactly.
a year.
Yeah. So I don't
At
know
the
if they want to
least,
do
at
that.
the least a year.
And
No,
then
it
what
wouldn't
if-
happen.
And what
It
if they
wouldn't
do
happen.
that and then Khabib comes back to fight the winner?
And then just wins easy.
Oh my God! Imagine that. They couldn't do that. They couldn't
No,
do
that
that.
would be awesome.
All right, so moving on, we got a couple other fights we want to talk about. I want to get this out of the way really quick because it's the next fight night that will be happening. 2021's first fight night, because they've taken the first 2 weeks off and the last week of December, is January 16th, and it's the first UFC event held on ABC, by the way.
ABC.
That will be
What?
broadcasted on ABC.
That's awesome.
I just realized this when I looked it up on events. If you look right here, UFC on ABC.
That's
Huh.
great. That's great for the sport.
That's really great for the sport.
Oh,
It
yeah.
And
brings
so-
a lot of attention. It brings in that
Not
that
only-
older generation.
Not only that, but the pay-per-view starts, the main card starts at 3 p.m.
3 p.m.
So Max Holloway and Calvin Kattar will be fighting around like
7 maybe
6.
6. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
6.
See, that's
Am I gonna be
that's
live
so good
streaming
for the
this?
That's
sport.
pretty interesting. If
Is
you
it?
want to live stream it, I'll be at work.
I'll probably live stream that.
That'd be great. Totally could.
The whole sport of MMA and UFC, they've been trying to fight against that
Absolutely.
belief, that stigmatism that they're just caged dogs in a ring.
Yeah.
This hopefully it'll normalize the sport more to average viewers.
I hope so. And you know what I hope doesn't happen? I hope there isn't a brutal, bloody fight.
With an ear ripped off or something.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that ABC will shut that shit down right away. We've seen that before.
Really.
With fights like what was it? Yeah, it was the first fight on ESPN. This was like in 2008.
I'm looking at the fights.
And I think it was George St. Pierre.
Why keep up?
He was the main event or something. And you know how George St. Pierre is. He gets bloody.
gets
He gets
messed up
beaten
every
up.
time.
Bad.
And so
That was one
ESPN,
fight.
right. And that was in 2007. And ESPN said, yeah, we don't want this kind of graphics on our viewing. And they just shut it down right away. And so,
Hope that doesn't
Well, compared
I
to
hope
what's
it
out there
doesn't.
now, it's probably.
I mean, seemingly, you would think that Dana White would have made like a couple fights deal.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
they're not just going to have one and done.
No, maybe a few fight nights
that would be
will
bad for
be
AFC.
broadcasted on ABC.
Yeah, I think
That
that,
would
they
be
might.
I
that
hope
would.
that happens.
Yeah.
That would be great because we could just broadcast from cable. We wouldn't have any more interruptions from
Oh, yeah.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah, we wouldn't,
Damn,
we
that
wouldn't-
is. I didn't even think about that.
That would be
We
something.
wouldn't have to switch over to the prelims and then the main card.
Right.
either.
That
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Although, I mean,
Wow.
that's just 2 seconds.
Yeah,
That's not
but
really.
while we're complaining,
Right. So everybody knows, check out ABC at 3:00. And if you can't actually don't check out ABC at 3:00. Come check out the podcast at 3:00. We might be live streaming if these
Yeah.
guys are down. Unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. So it'll probably be a better show anyway.
Well, hopefully you can get it off.
come on now.
No, I would like to get it off, but we're going to see because I have a lot of things coming up in the next couple weeks. So also in that fight night, because there obviously hasn't been a fight night or by the time that fight night happens, there hasn't been a fight night in 3 weeks. There's a lot of other main card fights
Mhm.
and prelim fights
Yeah.
that are have one good fighter or both good fighters. So I'm going to read through those real quick.
Joaquin.
Co-main event, you got Carlos Condit versus Matt Brown.
Oh,
That is right.
yeah.
That is a great fight between 2 welterweight veterans.
Really? Okay.
Carlos Condit, the former interim welterweight champ in 2010, and back when GSP got hurt for a year, You know?
Okay.
And then GSP beat him twice, but who hasn't GSP beaten like that? Carlos Condit's getting older, but Matt Brown is as well. They're just going to be landing shots. This is going to be probably a crazy fight.
Yeah.
So we also have Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Li Jingliang. Apologies if I messed that up. Santiago Ponzinibbio has also been a huge veteran in the sport. He's 28-3 in the top 15. He might be looking to get into the top of that division. That welterweight top 5 is hard to crack.
28-3.
But,
oh, wow. That's
he has the shot, and he has a decent enough name to make this an exciting fight.
Yeah.
And then we have Joaquin Buckley, the winner of Knockout of the Year and probably eventual winner of Knockout of the Decade.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat excellence.
Versus Alessio Di Chirico. Joaquin Buckley 12-3, Di Chirico 12-5. This is a middleweight fight. I'm not 100% on Di Chirico. I think Austin brings up a good point often when he says that Dana White's going to give this guy meatballs at the start to try to get his rep up, try to get him more practice so he can, be a caliber top 5 fighter.
Somebody that he can just mess up, build confidence, learn a little bit.
And we saw in his last fight, I can never remember who his last fight was. We just saw it a couple weeks ago.
He fucked the dude up.
He fought Jordan Wright a couple weeks ago. That's right. And he won because we thought that he was all hype. But Jordan Wright was 11-0 and Joaquin Buckley fucked him up in 2 rounds.
Yeah.
So
it was dominant.
That could be a starting point. He's already had his Knockout of the Year, but now we're getting serious. 2021. Try to string some wings together. You already have 2 in a row.
More, you need some tough competition this year. This year is going to be your year if you can come out on top. If you can get another knockout, not to that caliber.
Yeah.
But if you're knocking out people,
absolutely,
you're going to keep that reputation up.
Yeah, on the highlight reels, UFC puts that shit up, they're going to know your name after a while.
Yeah. Right. Sometimes, 10 wins in a row, like we saw with Tony Ferguson, isn't as huge as 2 highlight reel knockouts in a row. Yeah. That's just the sport that they're in.
Yeah.
If they're spectacular enough, it might be bigger.
Right.
Look at Kamaev. Look at how many followers he had just fighting 3 fights.
He was out of nowhere. Not out of nowhere, but out of nowhere.
He was out of nowhere.
I remember telling you guys about this, and it was like, what? That's crazy. Like he had like 138 to 2 strikes. Like, wow, I wonder if we're gonna hear from him. And then he knocks out Mearshart in 3 seconds. You're like, oh shit, okay, all right.
Now waste of fucking money.
Waste of fucking money.
And now he's bailing on fights for jam thumbs.
Yeah, exactly. Come on.
I don't buy that, and I think he's running from Edwards. I think he doesn't want to fight him.
Edwards is.
I do not believe
Edwards hasn't fought in a long time. Edwards is a bad motherfucker. Edwards will probably knock out Kamaev. His head movement is premier. He has great striking
too.
Exactly. Not only that, but Kamaev's 25, 26.
He's a young
Leon Edwards is 30, 31.
When Kamaev
He's been in the UFC for 5 years.
Yeah. When Kamaev comes out, dude, he charges at you. Well, not charges, but he adds the pressure.
People down. Absolutely.
Quick, and I think an experienced fighter
circle out
like
of that,
Aldo and Conor,
turn it right around.
He knew what he was gonna do. You just step back, and you fucking just let one rip, dude. You let a right hook hit.
But with someone like Leon Edwards, he's gonna be able to time that and get out of the way. I feel it might happen, but
no, Leon Edwards is gonna fuck Kamaev Edwards.
Okay, got it.
When he comes at him charging, he's gonna step back and then fucking
Kamaev Edwards.
I think there would be. I think you're right though with the counter game.
I think the counter games, and then he's going to take him to the ground. The guy's never been on the ground in the UFC.
Kamaev's a good wrestler.
Kamaev's a good wrestler.
I've seen videos.
He's been on top of people on the ground. I don't know if he's ever been on his back. I would doubt it because the 3 fights he's fought in were so one-sided.
I'd like to see him on his back.
Probably not yet.
I'd like to see him on his back.
Pause.
Okay.
So also in the prelims of the fight night, we have Phil Hawes fighting. Phil Hawes, fresh off his
fucked up Jacob Malkoon.
Yeah, he did. He fucked up Jacob Malkoon.
We chose Jacob Malkoon, people. Jacob Malkoon backed into a corner and died.
he had the same kind of slump that Jacare Souza had against Kevin Holland. He fell back like this.
Oh,
was like,
dude.
Like that.
This guy was like, he did not look comfortable in the ring.
And so we also have Carlos Felipe fighting, who Carlos Felipe is the last person to knock out Yorgan De Castro, who is a big fan favorite of ours, being that he
is from
Fall River. We are just 2 minutes away from Fall River. So it's
less than a mile away.
It's the closest UFC fighter to where we are right now, Yorgan De Castro. And so Carlos Felipe beat him in 3 rounds, unanimous decision. A great fighter, a great brawler.
Tell people where he worked, but he works.
Right, yeah. And so in the last fight I want to talk about is Omari Akhmedov, who just recently came off a loss against Chris Weidman, but he had 3 wins before that in the middleweight division, and he's fighting Tom Breeze. Tom Breeze is 12-2, but he's been in the UFC for something like 4 or 5 years.
Wow.
He hasn't really gotten a huge shot, and I'm pretty sure his 2 losses are against like his 2 best fighters he's fought.
Is he kind of just like an all right fighter?
He's like a gatekeeper almost.
Oh, okay.
But he's still young enough, and he still has enough to grow that you could see a shock here. But Omari Akhmedov is going to come in the heavy favorite. He beat someone in the top 15 before he ran into Weidman. But anyway, so that's
I think Weidman's done.
That's 3 fights in the prelims and like 3 more in the main card, not even including the main event for the January 16th fight night. So that's going to be a great fight night. We're not even going to talk about Wednesday's fight night. That was supposed to be Kamaev versus Edwards and is now just trash. We got Neil Magny versus Michael Chiesa, which is interesting, but it's not something that's going to make me want to watch on a Wednesday night.
Yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
No.
UFC 257, we already talked about it a little bit. We have also Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Ribas and Jessica Ai versus Joanna Calderwood. So some great ladies fights also happening.
I agree.
Brad Tavares versus Antonio Carlos Jr. Brad Tavares also a veteran. I think he actually fought and he lost a couple weeks ago. I might be wrong there. That's all we got for the scheduled fights on Google.
Thank you, Google.
Thank you, Google. Sponsor us.
Yeah, Google.
So besides that, now we're going to really get into the year preview. So Adesanya versus Blachowicz set for March 4th, March 9th.
Who do you got?
Nice.
Adesanya. Although Blachowicz is tough,
he's
man.
Big
if
dude.
Blachowicz can kick Adesanya in the head, Adesanya's going down.
Dude, yeah.
And Blachowicz is a kickboxer. Like, it could fucking happen.
Yeah, do you know how high do you know Blachowicz's height?
6'2".
6'2",
He's smaller than Adesanya.
You can still kick him in the head at that height.
Yeah, no, he definitely can. And he just came off an absolute knockout of Dominic Reyes, one of the best light heavyweights in the world. He had an uppercut knockout that just dropped Reyes. So, I mean...
Yeah, and we picked Reyes to win just because he went 5 rounds with John Jones.
Yeah,
but
we did.
He did not look...
Didn't go 5 rounds with Blachowicz.
He did not look 5 rounds with Blachowicz. And, I mean, that's a credit to Blachowicz. He's a great striker, but he's facing the best striker.
You think there's any chance Blachowicz wins? That's what
I
mean.
I
there's
definitely
a chance that he wins.
I would give Blachowicz a 33% chance to win.
3 continuing or no?
With
the 3 continuing or no?
No, just a 3.30.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.30.
Yeah.
I don't want to get carried away. That's too much.
Give him 40%.
Don't want to go overboard.
He's much bigger than him. Like girth-wise and
he is, but
body-wise.
But that's just because he fights 20 pounds heavier, and now Adesanya's getting to put 20 pounds of muscle on.
Yeah, Adesanya's
not going to be skinny anymore, bro.
It's going to be interesting.
He's not going to be skinny, bro.
It's going to be interesting to see how
it will be. It's going to be like the John Jones transformation to heavyweight.
Dude,
not as drastic,
no,
but he's going to be jacked. Totally going to be jacked.
15 pounds of muscle is fucking insane. Like, it's an insane thing to look at.
Then you got John Jones, who put on 25 pounds of muscle.
Which y'all saw that.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, he's going to fight at 240, dude. He's such a
2021 preview. John Jones. Who's he fighting first? We have rumors that Ngannou versus Stipe is going to be happening in April.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, that's been a rumor for a long time already. And since we have the March card booked up, especially if we have the main event, the co-main event that we're going to get to soon, and joining Adesanya 259, it seems like he's probably going to be 260 and Ngannou versus Miocic 2. That's going to be beginning of April.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, who you got?
Miocic versus Ngannou 2.
Miocic.
Yeah.
So, who does John Jones fight? Because, let me pause. I apologize. Let me take it back real quick. Curtis Blades versus Derek Lewis is announced for the main event of the fight night on February 20th.
Curtis Blades.
I got Curtis Blades by far.
It's not even going to be a match. Like, we've seen Derek Lewis's last 4 or 5 fights, and like he
gets gassed in the first 3 rounds.
Gassed in the first 2.5 minutes.
And Curtis Blades does not get gassed, and he will take you down more and more as the fight goes on.
Who did he fight that he almost got submitted a bunch? That old dude?
Curtis Blades?
No.
Oh, Oleksiy Oleinik fought Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis got lucky with an opening 2nd round knockout. And that was the only reason. Because he was breathing so heavily at the end.
It was one of the ones where he bends over to breathe and comes up and knocks him out.
Yeah, it really was. Yeah. I mean, Derek Lewis is super entertaining. And he's a great story. And he has a great look to him. And he has knockout power like a motherfucker. But Curtis Blades is better.
Yeah, he's
way
just a
better. It's a
fighter.
different. It's
Right.
a different type of fighter. It's
Now,
a different type of
Curtis
human.
Blades has lost to Francis Ngannou twice. It's the only losses on Curtis Blades' career.
Yeah.
Derek Lewis beat Francis Ngannou. But that was a fluke victory. That was right after Stipe. And so Ngannou was only training wrestling, and he was like scared it was going to be wrestling. And then Derek Lewis just punched the shit out of
TKO.
Yeah.
Unanimous decision.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ngannou's never been stopped.
No,
No,
Yeah.
never.
not yet. Who knows? Stipe might
Stipe absolutely might. I mean,
Dude,
he went
I'm
5
scared.
rounds with them before.
Because if Ngannou lands even one of those, he doesn't even have to set up a combo. If you
No,
can just
absolutely
land
not.
one of those big punches on Stipe,
Dude, if he jabs him the right way, Stipe's going down.
yeah,
You know, he might not be knocked out, but he's going to go down. That dude's power is freakish.
You want to know Ngannou's first job?
Yeah.
Child labor in a salt mine.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that's hardcore.
Where was it?
I'm gonna guess
Cameroon.
Cameroon. That was my
Cameroon.
guess.
He was born in Cameroon. He immigrated to France when he was 17. And then that's why if you see any of his first fights in the UFC, they call him Francis Ngannou because it's Ngan,
Yeah.
which is a different pronunciation in France.
Interesting.
Yeah.
A little bit of trivia.
But if you watch his fights, you get so mad because you're like, it's not Ngannou. Like
It's
Joe
Ngannou.
Rogan, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
funny.
no.
And it's like his first 3 fights.
Dude,
Joe
Ngannou
Rogan is going to be commentating a lot this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is
yeah, he
because
is.
Spotify is just gonna be sponsoring the shit out of UFC.
That's awesome.
It is awesome.
Yeah, I think. I want to see Ngannou Jones.
I do too. But
I really want to see. That's two
I-
big human beings.
I would
bro.
like to
It's-
see that before Ngannou fights Stipe again.
see, here's the thing that worries me.
Yeah.
I
right?
don't think we will see John Jones fight till the end of 2021.
Maybe
I don't think he fights before the summer
enough time to get his body accustomed.
because if Blades fights Lewis, that's 3 and 4.
Yeah.
And
Jones,
Ngannou
2.
fights Miocic. Well, that's 1 in champ.
Yeah.
And then you have 3 who's Overeem?
Dude, that dude's still
It's
fighting.
Overeem or Rosenstrike.
Yeah.
And I don't want to see John Jones fight either of them because he's going to fuck either of them up.
Yeah.
And so I think that my prediction, because that's all we can do at this point is predict, I'm going to say August. No, I'm going to say September. September is Miocic versus Jones for the heavyweight strap.
Anywhere
And I think
around
that's
there
Jones's first fight.
is a fair guess because he's had enough time to build up with like a few good months of training at his weight so he can get accustomed to his body. That's going to be a huge factor, by the way.
It is.
Like, I'm not sure if he's ever been that big before.
Like his cardio is going to be especially a factor, especially against someone like Stipe, who's going to go hard for 5 rounds.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Stipe, get the gas tank for a heavyweight.
Absolutely.
He's going to
He's
definitely
got
want
the
another fight
experience,
before
dude.
Stipe.
He's got the experience.
I think he will want to fight, but who does he fight? Because he's not going to fight like
Some
number
bum,
6.
yeah,
he's not going to do that. I mean, it would be cool to see him fight Overeem just from like a fucking UFC fan perspective.
Depends. If Blades fucks up Derek Lewis really
He's gonna
quick,
fuck him up. He's
but
gonna.
I
fuck
think
him
he
up.
will fuck him up.
Yeah.
But depends how damaged he is.
He could
might
take a
want
short notice
another
fight against
with
Jones.
John Jones.
And here's the thing about that. I think that in the heavyweight division, Curtis Blades is the biggest threat to John Jones
Me too. Yeah.
because of his wrestling
game,
ability
yeah.
and his
Yeah.
cardio,
Yeah.
The
Like-
strength of the man.
his absolute strength. Now, he's shown that he can get knocked out because he did by Ngannou, and John Jones is better than him on the feet. But Curtis Blades is probably the only person in heavyweight, and I'm including Stipe, that I could say might be as good of a wrestler as John Jones. He really might be. And he's going to come in heavier. And he's
Yeah.
going to come in with the cardio to boot because he's used to
The
260.
smart thing that Curtis Blades could do is call out as soon as he wins this fight is to call out John Jones.
Absolutely.
Absolutely in the ring, all over the mic.
And it would be a
'cause-
fight I would love to see.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I think he knows that he's a threat to John Jones.
At that point, it would be earned, honestly, because
Yeah,
I
it
would
believe
be.
Jones should have one heavyweight fight before he goes 5 rounds with the champ. That's asking a bit too much, in my opinion.
I agree, but at the same time, I feel like Jones wouldn't see it that way.
No,
I feel-
because he's a legend, and it's
Right.
his ego that made him a legend.
15
But then
title
ag-
defenses.
But then again, we haven't seen Jones fight since February of last year. It's going to be a year in a month that we've seen Jones fight, and he's not scheduled to fight anytime soon.
Yeah.
So who knows how? Like he's probably been 240 for a good 5 months now.
Yeah,
So-
there's no way he's not been 240. He's definitely walking around 240 right now, just because
He might be walking around 250, 260, but he'll weigh in probably at 240.
I
I'm gonna
wonder how much
guess.
of that's fat and how much of that's muscle.
I'm going to guess Jones at 240 rocks out at like 9% body fat.
9%.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah, maybe he might. I'm just thinking in my head, like, if he's been able to put on 40 pounds of muscle in a year, that's fucking terrifying.
That's terrifying.
That's steroids, people.
Dude, like, if you don't think that John Jones is getting USADA tested every fucking month.
all the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Especially after his track record.
Dude, no, like, he walks into his bathroom at his house, and USADA is like, hey, can I get a piss test?
Yeah, they just
Random
have their own.
times.
They have their own
4 o'clock
office
in the morning.
his
Knock,
house.
knock, knock.
They're
Get a
like,
piss test.
where were you 5 minutes ago? My bad. I was hitting a pregnant woman.
Yeah. 5 minutes ago, 5 months, whatever. So yeah, my prediction is we see Jones, Miocic in September. But I love the shout out, and I would love to see Jones versus Blades in like April, May. That would be great.
That would be really smart of Curtis Blades.
It would be
draw him
very
some money
smart.
too.
You draw him a lot of attention, and it would definitely. Everyone's gonna remember that call out.
Worst case scenario, if Derek Lewis somehow beats Curtis Blades,
Oh yeah,
and then Jones fights Lewis, and Jones,
he would steamroll Lewis.
That's not even a
Lewis.
fight.
that's a whipping.
Oh yeah,
That's a whipping.
that ain't fair.
All right. So what else we got? Oh, you want to talk about the co-main event you were just saying?
Yeah, that got announced today.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It is Peter Yan versus Almaine Sterling, UFC 259.
Piotr Jan versus
Yeah, that's what
Aljamain.
I got Piotr Jan.
Yeah.
You do have Piotr?
Yep.
This is an interesting one because this fight was supposed to happen in December.
Yeah.
And we had talked about it a lot, and I said that I think Aljamain Sterling will win.
Yeah.
I like Aljamain for a couple reasons.
Aljamain.
Sterling is taller.
Yep.
Sterling's a better wrestler.
Yep.
Sterling has a better reach. Sterling's style is unorthodox.
Yep.
Piotr Jan is very much a stiff, stay like
Orthodox
this.
fighter, just right out of the
I
book.
think he's orthodox. He might be southpaw. I think he's orthodox.
Yeah.
And he's just trying to hit you. And he's just coming at you. Leg kicks are some of the best I've ever seen.
Oh yeah.
Fucked up Uriah Faber's leg. Fucked it up. So, I mean, Aljamain's going to have a great chance, and I really think that he's going to be able to put pressure on Jan that no one else has been able to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Jan's the champ. He's only ever had the one championship fight, no title defenses, so it's going to be a huge test for him. A lot of people said that he got it prematurely because he was ranked 6 when he got the title fight, but that was because Cejudo vacated the belt.
Yep.
Henry
Cejudo. When's he fighting Nunez?
Oh
Dude.
my God, that fight needs to happen.
Dude, when's he fighting Volkanovski?
I don't know.
He's
No,
not.
he's not fighting.
retired.
He's not fighting Volkanovski.
No,
Oh, Cejudo. Yeah,
Cejudo.
yeah.
He
Dude,
called out
Ce-
Jake Paul. I think.
Yeah, Cejudo's not fighting Nunes. Jake Paul's fighting Nunes.
Dude.
Wait.
That got his
Is
attention.
this confirmed?
No, Dana White went on record saying
She would beat his ass.
he's saying he hates all these fights and he thinks boxing is so stupid because they're putting YouTubers against fights. That's what the status of boxing is now.
Oh yeah.
And then
it's
he
definitely fallen
took a
bit.
question about what would you say to one of your top fighters or even someone like Amanda Nunes fighting against Jake Paul. Dana White laughed and said, I would never schedule it because it builds no anticipation because Amanda Nunes would beat the shit out of Jake Paul.
She would be
Straight to the point. I like it.
To be honest, I
I'm
think
with
she
it.
would.
She would.
Oh my God. Are
She
you
would
shitting me?
Manhandle that
First-
child.
first
That
of all,
little child.
If those two ever got in the ring, within the first 5 seconds, Amanda Nunes would be on top of Jake Paul.
oh my
yeah.
God.
Oh come on.
And
Now.
in the next 10 seconds, you'd have him in an armbar.
Yeah, no. If it was a grappling
She's throwing
match,
elbows
too,
at him.
MMA, dude, she would fucking murk.
That's
him.
what these. Have you guys ever heard of James Toney? James Lights Out Toney. He was a Showtime boxer in like 2000 or like mid 2000s.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you ever heard? I know you have. Have you ever heard of Randy Couture?
Yeah.
Randy Couture, former heavyweight and light heavyweight champion, is the oldest champion in UFC history. He was like 41 when he won the heavyweight title.
built like a
Damn.
fucking moose. Dude.
Before that, when he was like 38, he's a former army
Classic.
boxer.
Yeah.
He learned to box in the army.
Hmm.
Before that, he got in some kind of social media beef, whether it was MySpace or Facebook. I don't know what it was, but it was literally the first social media beef in UFC history. And it was with this boxer, James Toney. And this guy was saying, like, you don't understand. Like, I would knock you out in 5 seconds if we ever got in the ring.
Kind
Do
of
you
like
know?
Jake Paul.
Right.
Yeah.
And they fucking made the match. And Dana White sanctioned it, and they got in a UFC ring. And within 5 seconds, Randy Couture was on top of James Toney.
Oh.
And it went 3 rounds, and Couture just played with him. He literally like slapped him on the ass like 5 times.
That's funny as fuck.
Wow. We need to watch this, I think.
It's the only ever cross promotional fight in UFC because like Showtime Boxing sponsored the fight. This was way back in the day, though. This was like 2006, 2007.
Wow.
And it's exactly what Jake Paul versus Amanda Nunes would be. It would be
a slaughtering.
But Henry said Udo versus Nunes.
That is what I want to see. And
Me
before
too.
we get to talking
You
any
wanna
more about
see it.
that,
Your boy.
you're watching MMA Complete. Zach Drapo, Austin Garvey, Mark Tosi, being brought to you by SFBNRI. Check out all the SFBNRI platforms. You got YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, LinkedIn, MySpace, all that stuff. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll be right back to finish off the preview of
that. So I gotta find out more of the deets about that, and I'll let you know if you want free advertisement.
Yeah, dude. All the advertising we can, all the sponsors we can. Blue Moon sponsor us. If you can see the label, if you can even see the label. All right, 2021. What else we got? What do we think's gonna happen? What do we want to happen? Ideal matchups that we think's gonna happen. Who's Kevin Holland fighting next? Let me start it off.
Good question. And you want to know who I think he should fight?
Who's that?
If he didn't sign his most recent fight contract, totally would put him up against Leon Edwards on that Wednesday.
I would love to see that. And Edwards is still campaigning for a fight.
Yeah,
he still is. And I think Holland might have gotten into the beef. Holland won a lot in 2020, and to someone like me looking from the outside, it seems like he would want to take a break. But then again, he didn't in 2020, so maybe he just wants to keep going.
Maybe he feels like he's on his roll.
Right, and he totally is. But like when you look at the middleweight division, you have some other interesting names. You have a guy like Uriah Hall. Yeah. Uriah Hall is like a comparison for Kevin Holland. That's like what Kevin Holland is probably going to be is what Uriah Hall was supposed to be.
Yeah, kind of.
Then you have someone like Jack Hermanson. Jack Hermanson, this would be a great fight for him to take.
Jack Hermanson would be.
And these two were already supposed to fight, but Holland had to pull out, and then Vettori got slotted in, and then we obviously know what happened with that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you have other guys like that in the middleweight division. You have a Khamzat Chimaev, who this would be a better fight for him because it's not number 3, it's number 11, which is Kevin Holland.
That would be a great fight, Chimaev versus Edwards. I mean, not Edwards.
Dude,
Holland.
Chimaev Edwards versus Holland.
I would like to see a Chimaev Holland.
I would love to see that,
but so nice.
I think Kevin Holland would fuck up Khamzat Chimaev.
I think so too, because it's just not Chimaev's fight.
Definitely have a bigger reach.
Like he's definitely have a bigger reach.
He's got him on the wrestling, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, man.
The middleweight division is such an interesting division, especially if Adesanya leaves. Because if Adesanya leaves, you pretty much know that. If Adesanya doesn't leave, you know that Adesanya is going to be whoever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you have people like Robert Whittaker, who deserves a rematch.
He still does, yeah.
You got Paulo Costa, who's going to be having 2-3 more fights, and if he wins those,
Robert Whittaker.
I don't know. I think Whittaker's an animal, dude.
Dude, Whittaker's an absolute unit. He eats punches. He gets back up. He's so well-rounded.
Mm-hmm.
He's probably one of the more well-rounded champions I've seen.
He's more patient. He's only lost to Adesanya, dude. He hasn't lost anyone else. It's only Adesanya. The dude's an animal. And ever since he got knocked out, if you watch his fights, he holds back more. Like, he held back in that last fight versus
Jared Cannonier.
Yeah, Robert Whittaker really did.
You got Paulo Costa, that went 3 rounds. You got Darren Till, you got Marvin Vettori, you got Jack Hermanson, you got
Kevin Holland. Yeah, dude, that's a stacked division.
It is. We were talking about Darren Till the other day.
And then you got Adesanya ruling the keep. Yeah. Not even close to anybody.
Kevin Holland, Darren Till would be a great fight.
I think it would be too.
Kevin Holland could fight a lot of people, and it would be a great fight now.
I would love to see Adesanya win the light heavyweight championship. I think it makes for more fights in the light heavyweight division, and definitely more fights in the middleweight division.
And it brings a lot more notice to the division.
You actually have competition for that belt again,
right?
Because with Adesanya as champ in the middleweight, you're kind of just like
he's going to hold it for years.
Everybody,
yeah. I think that Robert Whittaker has a chance in a rematch against him. I really do.
He does, dude, with his new form of approach,
right? And so let me ask you this:
do you think he's the next champ, though?
Whittaker?
Yeah.
Who's going to run that division?
I think Whitaker.
I don't know if anybody's
run
going to
it,
run
but-
that division because Whitaker's 30 now. He's getting a little older.
Prime.
You have
He's in his
he's in his
prime.
prime.
He has
Right, but-
He has like 4 years of prime.
right, but by the time he's 32, he'll maybe have a fight, and then he might get the title fight, and then he might have a title defense. So like that's a year, maybe 2,
Yeah.
and then he's 32. Someone else is going to come up, maybe like a Cannonier who's still pretty young, who's a jacked fighter.
Cannonier's actually
He's
pretty
good.
old. He's 37.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, I got that wrong then. I'm thinking of someone else. I think.
You're probably thinking of like Jaron Till, 27.
I like so many fighters now. I love Jack Hermanson. I think he's a great fighter who just had a bad loss.
Yeah.
Marvin Vettori looks like he's fucking badass. So he might have some stakes in that division. And then you got the Whitaker, you got the Costa, R.I.P. Romero. He would have
Yeah, he
finished
was
off this
awesome.
division greatly. And you got Darren Till. And then you got Kevin Holland on the come up.
Maybe they got rid of Romero because the division was already stacked.
Possibly. And you have other guys like
Yeah, and they need
Derek Brunson, like
Yeah.
Edmund Shabazian, who's going to try to get
Shabazian.
back in the win streak in 2021.
Mhm.
That division's loaded.
Dude, how about some of the newer guys? Who was that? The Eskimo guy. He was wearing some weird shit on his head.
Oh, that guy. I know what you're talking
He's
about.
he was a new fighter. He was like 11-0. Now he's 12-0 and with 1-0 in the UFC.
Wow.
And he won pretty dominantly. He's Shakvat something.
Oh, Shavkat Rachmanov.
There you go. Thank
Yeah, I
you.
remember that guy.
I want to.
I don't know how I remember that name.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know
good
how
on
you remember that name. Anyway.
I'm getting used to it, man. I'm trying to remember all these UFC names now. You know what was the first huge one that I did not know how to do? It was the woman Chinese fighter that we
Zhang.
it was Zhang Yaonan.
Zhang Yanan.
Or no. No, it was Xiaonan was her last name. So maybe it was Yan Xiaonan. So never mind. I
Okay,
didn't
Yan
remember that
Yanan.
shit.
Okay.
But yeah, UFC's obviously, unless you count European soccer, the most diverse. It's UFC's the most diverse sport in America, for sure.
I hope it stays
For
the
sure.
most diverse sport.
Yeah, diverse, whatever.
I'm fucking around.
Diverse.
It's just because we hop on him for saying Frank Mir wrong.
No, I totally Frank Mir, Shogun
That's
Rua,
Frank Mir.
Shogun Rua.
Mauricio Shogun.
Yeah. Mauricio Shogun Hua.
It was good. You got it. It was pretty good. All right. So who else we got that we want to see fight in, this year? 2020.
Charles Oliveira. I want to see what happens with him.
Okay.
I really do think he's got the belt clutch, just the way he dominated Tony Ferguson.
We agree.
Yeah.
We both
I
on
agree.
that.
I think
I think it sucks because he
Yeah.
kind of has a boring style, in my opinion.
And he's not really a guy that a lot of gets attention, you know what I mean?
let me
No,
say
he
this
hasn't
though.
been any.
Let me
Yeah.
say this though. Gaethje, even though he went out in 2 rounds against Khabib,
Yep.
did well in the first round. He didn't do great, but he did well.
Mhm.
And he stuffed 2 or 3 of Khabib's takedowns. And Khabib has a different style in that he's much more energetic and he likes to back people down. Charles Oliveira kind of goes with the flow.
Yeah.
Right? So when you have a fighter, Oliveira was definitely pushing
I
the
don't-
pace.
You definitely pushed the pace against Tony. Took Tony to the ground.
He had him on the
He-
ground
he-
for over 10 minutes.
He had him on the. He had a black
when
belt
they
on
were
the
s-
ground for 10 minutes.
But when they were standing up, he wasn't like dominating and he wasn't trying to move and do all these crazy things. He was kind of standing in front of him.
He landed
When he
some
saw an
punches.
opening, he took him down.
Yeah.
And now Gaethje, just coming off one of the biggest wrestling tests of his career, is practicing his takedown defense, as all these fighters are, obviously. But he's used to a much faster and a better wrestler. And so I can totally see Gaethje stuffing 5 or 6 of Oliveira's takedowns before he finally gets one. Because I'm sure Oliveira will
I
get
can
at
see
least a
that too.
takedown.
Mhm.
And then standing up, it's no contest. Gaethje's better.
Yeah.
So that's the fight that, we're coming back to this full circle, this lightweight debacle that we have. But I think that Gaethje Oliveira is the fight to make for the title. And I think you can make that in fucking March if you really wanted to. You could make it February if you really wanted to.
Yeah. No, you could, and I
Gaethje didn't
agree.
get damaged at all. Neither did
You're talking
Charles
about
Oliveira.
you're
Right.
talking about so many different like aspects because like if you could do Charles and Gaethje, no one knows who Charles Oliveira is, and you think he's gonna be Gaethje.
Well, people know.
But
People know who
He
he
knows
is.
who he is, but he's
they
not
didn't
like
adver-
very
They didn't
well known.
advertise him as much as they should have. I think it's because he's kind of just like he's
a
not
boring fighter.
Yeah,
He's a Tyron Woodley.
he's awesome to see,
Yeah.
like perform some ground game stuff. But when you don't want to see somebody just keeping a really tight side control on somebody for an entire 5-minute rounds.
Right.
Yeah.
That's horrible.
It's
completely
awful
agree.
to watch.
Yeah.
It's not entertaining. He's not an entertaining fighter.
It's
Right.
impressive. But
He's
Which
go-
is
he
why
goes for
he's
the win.
needed 8 wins to become top 3 in the division.
Yeah.
I mean, he beat Tony Ferguson coming off a loss, which he got fucking
I mean,
rocked 100 times.
To be
He did,
fair
yeah.
to him, Charles Oliveira should have finished Tony in the first. That armbar should have
oh
finished
yeah,
him
Tony's a fucking animal. That was amazing.
for not tapping
Yeah.
it. That was crazy.
He had a hyperextended elbow. Like if
Easily.
this is his elbow was up here, guys. It was fully bent the
Oh,
wrong
that
way.
it was.
It was like this, elbow up.
Yeah, it really was. And it was bad.
and he didn't tap. It was crazy.
Gaethje's got to be thinking, like, what the fuck can I do to get a top striker to win some fucking fights in this
Yeah,
division?
he's
You
done.
know what, he's got Conor.
He does have Conor, and that is the
Yeah.
dream matchup, right?
That is the
Gaethje
dream
versus Conor.
matchup, and I think so sick.
Imagine if Charles Oliveira gets skipped over again, and he doesn't get another huge
Dude,
fight until like
might
next year.
for publicity purposes.
Yeah, because it makes sense for Dana White to give
Because think about it.
give Poirier or Conor the title.
If Conor doesn't go to boxing, he beats Poirier, not for the title. Gaethje's for the title. Conor fights Gaethje.
Right.
And they just give Gaethje some cannon fodder.
I would like to see Gaethje fight the winner of Poirier McGregor for the
Mhm.
title.
Yeah.
And then maybe Oliveira fights the winner of Hooker Chandler.
Oh, poor Oliveira.
Oh, screw him, dude. He's boring.
Dude, I think Oliveira will beat either Hooker
I
or
think so,
Chandler.
too. Just because of the way he
Again,
is.
we're gonna have to see how Chandler's ground game is. We're gonna have to do a little
Watch
bit more research
Chandler.
on him.
Watch us just be underwriting this guy. Watch him
Watch-
just come out, fucking
Smoke.
double leg slam Dan.
Just absolutely beat the
Knock him
shit out of him.
Dude, doesn't even knock him out on the ground.
Knock
Lets
him out with
slams
the
him
not
Lets him up, kicks him in the
slam
face, knockout. Just
He knocks him out,
unle-
picks him up, knocks him back conscious.
Yeah.
Some unreal shit. I will shit my pants if Michael Chandler's that good.
Yeah, I will too. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't think he will
You know,
at all.
I think he'll be all right. He'll be a good fighter, but I don't think he'll be top 5.
If you want to hear more of this, because we have had the best commentary on the lightweight division and all the shit that's been going down on it, catch us every Thursday night at 8 p.m. wherever you're watching this. Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Periscope, Twitch, MySpace, all that. So
Shit. All that
all that
shit.
all that bullshit. We're trying to get our YouTube presence a little bit higher. We're at like 400 subscribers on YouTube.
SFBNR,
Yeah, SFBNRI,
Nice.
SFBNRI.com, Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island,
MMA Complete Podcast. Check it out.
MMA Complete
Happy
Podcast.
Thursday, everyone.
So if you are watching this and you haven't visited us on YouTube, go and give us a subscribe, and you can watch this over there too. I think that's my favorite streaming website. So I don't know why more people don't use it, but I guess it's because Facebook gets the most shares. So
That's true.
we'll accept any of the views you guys want to send us. Don't worry about that.
And the likes. Thank you for those.
Yeah, and the likes.
Another person I want to see fight, Sean O'Malley.
Oh yeah.
Sean O'Malley, that's a good one. And I got another fight to talk about after that. So
Okay.
Sean O'Malley, bantamweight. And
I don't know who he fights. I would like to
think
see
he
him fight.
rematches Cheeto Vera.
I want to see that so bad.
Cheeto Vera.
Marlon Vera.
Marlon Cheeto Vera.
Yeah.
Bantamweight's fucking another thing we can talk about right now. How about who do we have? Brian Ortega back. Right.
That's featherweight.
That's featherweight. Okay. I messed up. Max Holloway.
Max Holloway featherweight.
Featherweight. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
thinking about
That's a big
featherweight.
that division's stacked. We talked about that
Yes.
last week on the pod. Featherweight
Okay.
is a stacked division.
I would say it's top heavy though. Like it's the top 5 fighters and then
Yeah, and then kind of just
everybody else. Especially when you got, and we say this every time, Yair Rodriguez suspended for 6 months because he couldn't put his fucking location on his phone.
so
Yeah.
stupid.
Yeah, because he's probably the best striker in that division. Like he had some 360 tornado kick knockout like a couple years ago. So featherweight
Brian
division.
Ortega too, dude. Brian Ortega's
He
coming
was
up
looking
fast.
so good that last.
I know he just went straight to featherweight, but Brian Ortega definitely deserves a title shot soon.
Shave the hair.
Mhm.
That's how you know a fighter's serious.
Yeah.
When they get rid of their flow.
Well, he does that for I think a lot of his fights.
Weight.
He
might
he
have
has
a
a-
bad weight cut.
has a
too.
bald head and then he grows it until his next fight and then he cuts it like a couple days before the fight. Donates it to Locks of Love.
Oh wow, what a good guy.
Right?
Man, what the fuck, Zach?
But he
Damn.
also had not fought in 2 years, which is why he had such long ass hair.
Yeah.
So I think that's his thing.
He's a beast.
So Ortega's probably going to get the next title shot against Volkanovski. You have Holloway versus Qatar happening January 16th. That's going to be, shall we say, a number 2 contender fight.
Oh yeah.
And then you also have Zabit Magomedsharipov.
Zabit Magomedsharipov.
Okay.
who is supposed to get a title shot in 2021. That's what Dana White said. Said that Zabit's going to get a title shot.
Really? Okay.
Yes. So I think the winner of Holloway Qatar fights
Should fight
Zabit.
Zabit, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I think Holloway's going to destroy him.
Oh, I think so too.
I think Holloway literally is the best fighter in this division, and he just got robbed in the second fight against Volkanovski.
He's a prodigy in the sorts. He's the speed at the way he came up.
Yeah,
how
he
good
basically
did at
trained
everything.
himself.
Yeah.
He was telling me he beat BJ Penn.
Max Holloway?
No, he didn't.
I don't think I told you
BJ Penn
that.
is
Oh,
way
lightweight.
higher weight.
Yeah.
No, he's not that much heavier. He was lightweight and featherweight's
Oh, we're talking about
145.
Yeah.
Max Holloway?
Talking about so much, dude.
Max Holloway beat Brian Ortega.
Yeah.
And I think
No, I
that's
do-
a
I
fight
did
that
know
we
that.
both said that you should watch because Brian Ortega's face is a mush
Yeah,
pie.
it was fucked up.
Yeah.
That would be good to
Fucked
see a rematch. Though.
It would be great to see a fight. But I Holloway just fought twice, so I can see them wanting to get another contender. So put Ortega up there. Why not?
Yeah.
See if Volkanovski can beat two different guys because he's only ever beaten Holloway for the title.
Oh yeah. Send him up against.
I think
Ortega.
Volkanovski's like 14-0 now.
Really.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good record.
I think he's one of the two undefeated champions in the UFC.
How many defenses does he get?
Just the one against Holloway.
Just one. Okay.
Another guy I want to see fights in the light heavyweight division is Khabib's partner there. Ankle.
Oh, yeah.
He beat
Magomed.
Leon.
So
Magomed Ankalaev.
dominant.
He's so dominant, and
I
he
thought
might be-
Cutelaba held his
he
own.
might be a champ.
He beat Cutelaba, but I thought he held his own a
So
little
He held
bit.
his own better than the first fight.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ref was better in the second fight. Yeah, that's
So,
for sure.
so he got knocked out pretty bad. I'm sure
He did get knocked out, yeah.
But I just think he was outfought like a better fighter as Magomed.
That's
Yeah,
a guy
definitely.
that could run that division.
I think that's a lot of hype, man. I'm
It's
not
not-
going to lie to you. I think that's a lot of
I think
hype.
that might be a little bit much right now.
You got a lot of killers in that division, and
You
he hasn't
do.
proved himself against any of them. You know what I mean? Once he starts fighting a couple top
He's
10
ranked
guys,
7.
right? But Ion Cutelaba is the best fighter he's fought.
Yeah, I know, but he's still ranked 7. I mean,
That's all good, and
It's-
he might deserve it because that division is not stacked.
Yeah.
But the top 6 of that division are fucking stacked. So
but that's
I
pretty
agree
much
with
every
you.
division.
And I think in Khabib's camp has a lot of great fighters. So I would love to see Magomed
Trains with
Ankalaev.
Khabib. He's definitely good on the ground.
I'd love to
dude,
see him
and
fight
he can
like a
kick.
Thiago Santos. I'd love to see him fight Thiago
That would be a
Santos.
good
That would be a
fight.
great fight.
Did Thiago Santos
He
get?
just lost to Glover Teixeira.
Yeah, he just lost. Did he get any injuries? Do you know about?
No, he actually he might have even scheduled a fight like a week after he lost.
Great-
I'm gonna look that up
A
real
great
quick. 'Cause I thought I
storyline
saw
would be
something.
for him to fight Conor. Khabib's camp.
Let's get-
Khabib's. I think pretty sure he's Khabib's
Connor
cousin.
is way too small to fight that guy.
Yeah.
Ankalaev was like 6'3".
I know.
Oh no,
Fuck
Connor
him
would
up.
get murdered, dude. That would
Yeah.
be
Against
cool.
who?
Against Magomed Ankalaev.
You what? Oh, so Thiago Santos is fighting on March 6th against Alexander Rakic,
Oh.
who's the number 5 fighter. That is a great fight. That will be the main event of UFC Fight Night 189.
Mhm.
So it's not Magomed Ankalaev, but
Go on,
it's the substitute. Thiago Santos, fresh off his loss against Glover Teixeira, former title contender against
Yeah.
John Jones. He had one of the best performances anyone's ever had against John Jones. And then you got Alexander Rakic, who just destroyed Anthony Smith a couple months ago to put him top 5. I think he's something like 15-1.
Yeah.
So, like I said, that division's top heavy, and a lot of them are going to start fighting each other. But you have guys like Glover waiting, holding their dick in their hand.
That sucks.
It
That
really does
sucks.
suck.
Well, he's
And-
he's gonna be the backup.
Yeah,
for
and
that
we just
fight,
heard
hopefully.
that Glover Teixeira will be the backup fighter in case there's any injuries in the Adesanya Blachowicz fight that's set to fight in
Volunteer.
March. Yeah, a volunteer.
So it's not contracted. It's
Well, that's what Chandler was. Chandler was the backup in case either Gaethje or Khabib got
It
COVID.
was in Abu Dhabi.
that
Yeah,
is
running around the
so
parking lot.
wild.
Right. And then you had a guy like Tony who was like, "Why the fuck didn't I get it?"
Right,
Yeah.
dude. That's what.
I can understand why Tony didn't get it though, because God forbid Khabib got COVID and they
Ugh.
had to do Tony versus Gaethje for
Again.
the interim title again.
Ooh. Yeah, that's a gross taste in your mouth.
Yeah,
right there.
exactly. And And
Right, I know
what
what's
we
gonna
know
happen.
now, if Ferguson got fucked up by Gaethje again, then you're like, oh,
Yeah, but
like,
then he
all
could,
right.
yeah, but
This
then
guy
he could
needs
take
to
him to the
go.
ground.
Yeah, no, he totally would beat him on the if he got.
He would
to throw
try
the
and take him
ground
to the
game in
ground
there.
that fight.
Yeah,
Honestly, that
probably.
probably
I
wouldn't have
think
been a
so.
bad fight. Now that I'm thinking about it.
well, then again, we just saw what Tony could do on the ground versus fucking
Yeah.
Oliveira. So, I mean,
He would get fucked.
Dude. good
Well, not
point,
Gaethje. I
but
think Gaethje's not good on the ground.
Gaethje's real deal on the ground. He's just
he is. Just
he's just
Khabib's
not
just way
as
better.
real deal as Khabib.
Yeah.
Well, no one is.
No one is.
No one is.
He chose not to break his arm. He chose not to. He chose to put him in a triangle.
Yeah, that was kindness right there.
You know?
It's crazy.
Thanks.
I saw a video of a jiu-jitsu black belt master put a wooden baseball bat in a triangle, and he just moved his left leg
Yeah,
and snapped the baseball bat. A wooden baseball bat.
yeah.
Snapped it in half. Clean. I was like, Jesus. And the caption was, now you understand why UFC fighters tap. Like, yeah, okay. Sure. I got it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that pressure is like
That is. All right. So that's just about going to do it for us, guys. It's
Yeah.
just about 8:50. We got another podcast coming to you live at 9:00. I don't know what it is, but stay tuned to SFB NRI platforms to check that out. I'm sure it's going to be a great show. Thank you to Nick LeBlanc, who just had his Titletown Throwdown podcast right before this one. Gave me a shout out, so I'm going to give him a shout out.
thanks, Nick.
Check out Titletown
Shout out,
Throwdown
Nick.
every Thursday night at 7 p.m. He does Nick's picks every week where he goes in NFL. It's now the playoffs now, so he does his picks for every NFL game that's going to happen. Really interesting. He had a really hot take involving my Colts and the Bills. Check that out.
Bills are gonna smack the Colts.
Oh,
Dude.
No, they're not. The Colts are going to win.
Yeah, your face when you said
Yeah.
that.
Phillip Rivers isn't going to throw an interception.
Yeah, in the
No.
fourth minute to go.
No. I'm going to be watching that at work. I'm going to be crying.
Virgin.
That game's,
I'd like to
that game's
do a
Saturday at 1:00, by the way.
I'd like to do a podcast with him. During
Phillip
the
Rivers,
playoffs.
Nickelback.
Yeah, Nick, yeah, Phillip Rivers, yeah.
All right, so that's just about going to do it. I'm going to run a real quick ad. Check us out all 2021. We'll be live streaming the Conor fight January 23rd. We might live stream the January 16th fight night between Holloway and Qatar.
Holloway, I will plan on that.
That live stream will be coming to you around noontime. So check that out, and we will run an ad, and then we'll be out of here. So take it away, the next podcast.